So hello everybody. Yeah, I have an Arturia Astrolab. I have to confess that because I got it for an unbeatable price, and now with support of the Analog Collection 11, it has many interesting plugins in there like the Mini Brute or similar things. But what was the critic with this device was that it had only 4 knobs to control the sounds, the sound parameters of the device, with some additional 4 knobs for controlling effects, but only 4 for controlling the actual sounds. But it turns out that via MIDI you can control 9 more parameters, and there's also quite some space on the device to have a controller. So what you need is a controller device which can run standalone and can connect via USB, for example, to the Astrolab, and you're good to go. And for example, you could use a FaderFox EC4 I have here, or what I wanted to show you is here with Electra One, which runs also nicely standalone. And also several people ask me to show how easy it is or how difficult to program a template on the Electra One. And that's what we're gonna do in this video. We're going to unlock the 9 secret parameters of the Astrolab with a template on the Electra One. So let's first have a look at the manual of the Astrolab, which explains all the different parameters which are available on the Astrolab. Astrolab is also sending out MIDI data, and this list in chapter 11.3 of the manual shows which one are sent out and which are received. And there are parameters, MIDI CC commands with which you can trigger all the knobs as well, and also the buttons on the device, and also they send out these parameters. But there are more. There are also 9 additional faders which are documented here in this manual, and I also copied it here in a text file so it's easier to read than in this table. So here we have these faders 1 to 9 because the CC numbers are not simply going upwards, they're a little bit mixed and some holes in there, so we need these as a reference. So how do we create a template with the Electra One? We simply need to open the website with the editor. So you need to log in into the website, and then you can access your own template, and there you can simply click on create a new template. And we have here this matrix with the different pages, but for that simple example we only need the first page. And on the left hand side you find the parameters where you can edit the pages, and let's name that one simply control, or you can name it whatever you like. And also let's give the preset a name, and let's call that one Astrolab. So on the left-hand side, you find some global configuration. The most important one is which MIDI channel you want to use as a global one. So this one needs to match the device you want to control with. And here we're good to go with MIDI channel 1, and the rest is not really interesting. And now we have the different elements which you can use on the page. So you have faders, so absolute values, you have lists, you have buttons, you have envelope graphics, you have toggle buttons, and you have relative knobs, and so on. So lots of different options to choose from. But the Astrolab sadly only supports absolute values, and you also don't get any feedback out of the Astrolab. So that's what we're going to use, absolute faders. You have different options here. Unipolar sets it that we only have one fader, not going to left or right, for like example you would use with a panorama parameter. Then you can set a minimum and a maximum value, which will be shown on the controller. This does not necessarily need to match the range of MIDI. You can have other values which make sense, but since we don't know what we're actually controlling, which parameter of a plugin, we just leave it like this and use the same values as with MIDI, so 0 to 127, and it's 7 bits that are supported. And you could also change the colors to whatever you like, and we can simply copy these by using the keyboard, so pressing Control and C and Control and V for inserting a different one. And then let's simply change the name to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and up to 8. And we also need to change the CC value. So the next one is with 75 and 79 and so on. And we need to copy all of them into the different fields. And not to forget, we also have a 9th one. Maybe let's make that one red so we can have it look a little bit different. And let's give some more funny colors, make some variations of blue. And here let's maybe go with some, why not some brown variations on the second row so we can differentiate a little bit the different values. And that's basically already it. You can save it. And you can also remember different revisions. So you could also recall some changes you did later on if you, for example, made a mistake, but that's not really necessary here. And then we just need to press a button to send it to the Electra One. And that's basically everything we needed to do. And we're good to go and to test that with the Astrolab. So let's grab another USB cable. This is actually much too long for that task, so we could also use a very short one. And we need to plug it into the Astrolab with one side. And let's plug the other end into the Electra One. So let's remove it from the computer and reboot it here on the Astrolab, and it's coming up, and we see we have our parameters here as well. Yeah, and let's give that a test, and let's check out some sounds. So the nice thing is that you directly see the parameter in the display, so you have really a good idea what you are actually controlling. And it turns out that most of the time the 8 knobs contain the envelope. So the first row is a filter envelope and the second row is the amplitude envelope, and the 9th one contains another parameter, maybe a mixer value quite often. But there are also presets which contain different things. But these are also configurable by you into the Analog Lab software. And there you can change these parameters for each of your presets. And then you can, for example, change it here with the Electra One and tweak it to your own needs. So this makes it much more powerful, the Astrolab, so you have access to much more parameters than only 4. You have now 15, still not everything, but I think in a live situation you don't need that many parameters, you just need the most important ones you need on the device accessible, and that's definitely the case now. Yeah, what do you think? Do you like that? Do you also have the Astrolab? Do you want to see more videos about the Astrolab? Tell me down in the comments. And until next time, make some funky music.